Today's March 9th, 2022. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, a few things today, but first, in June of 1963, President John Kennedy went to the German city of Berlin and gave a famous speech. And in that speech, he identified himself with the citizens of the city by saying, "I am a Berliner." Well, obviously, he's not German. He was Irish ancestry. But he wanted to identify with the people of Berlin who were subjugated by the East German and by extension by the Soviet Union. And there was a wall that had just gone up 2 years earlier, the Berlin Wall, which divided the city in half. Well, my own family ancestry is Swiss. My last name is a Swiss name. German blood, some Scottish and some Irish, mainly German. But today, I'd like to say that, along with maybe many other Americans, that we are Ukrainian. I'd like to say that. We support the Ukrainian people against this Russian invasion of their country. Theoretically, Russia might have some justification in being upset that Ukraine might want to become a member of NATO. That gives them absolutely no justification for an invasion, to use weapons and soldiers to subjugate a nation like Ukraine. I'm totally against it, as are almost all Americans. So I'd like to say again, I am a Ukrainian, and I support them completely. And why? Not just the geopolitical aspects, but because of the lives of the loss of human lives that are happening right now in this country. We believe as pro-lifers in the sanctity of human life. And Vladimir Putin obviously does not care about human life or independence or democracy or anything else. He is a tyrant, a bully, a dictator. And he does not value the lives of innocent people in Ukraine. Actually, he doesn't care about the innocent people in his own country. But we stand with Ukraine. So another item to mention is that on May 19th, mark your calendars, on May 19th, Kalamazoo Right to Life is going to be hosting our Focus on Life dinner. And this year is going to be a little different because we're calling it a homegrown celebration. Well, what we're celebrating, among other things, is the fact that we believe, or at least I believe, that the Supreme Court is going to make a big course correction on abortion policy in our country with the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. And that decision is going to come down in the next few months, probably by June or July. And I believe it's going to overturn major aspects of Roe v. Wade. So for that, we're going to celebrate what the Supreme Court is going to be doing very shortly. And as well, typically we bring in an outside speaker, but this year at our dinner, we're going to have 3 local women who are going to be speaking maybe 10, 15 minutes apiece. And they're going to be talking about different aspects of the pro-life movement or about the issue of life. One's going to talk about the benefits of adoption or foster care, and one's going to talk about the importance of a pregnancy care center, and the other one is a medical doctor, and she's going to talk about little babies, preemies, little babies in the womb. She's a neonatologist. So May 19th, the location's going to be at Kalamazoo First Assembly of God Church in Portage. If you're interested in attending, go on to our website, kazoortl.org, for more information. And you can even get your tickets on our website, kazoortl.org. Okay. The big item today is regarding the petition drive that will be starting probably next week all across the state of Michigan. And this is the petition drive that is going to be led by the pro-abortion people in Michigan. And I've got a fact sheet here, and I'll be looking at it, so it's going to be a little disjointed here. Their group is called, it's a coalition called Reproductive Freedom for All. It's a coalition with Michigan Voices, the ACLU of Michigan, and, no surprise here, Planned Parenthood of Michigan. They launched a petition drive. They need to collect 425,000 signatures by July 11th. And actually, because you know how things are with petition drives, somebody's signs on the wrong line, he prints when he should have signed, he put down his birth date instead of the date he signed it. You know, people put down a wrong city or township, and those names are thrown out. Or the person's not even a registered voter. So they really need to collect about 550 to 600,000 signatures to make sure that they get what they need to put this issue on the ballot. And what is the issue? The issue is that they want to repeal our 1846 law, which was revised or reauthorized in 1931, which bans abortions throughout all 9 months of pregnancy except for the physical life of the mother. And if the Supreme Court were to overturn Roe v. Wade, our law takes effect again immediately. So Michigan would become one of the few states that would be abortion-free. So the pro-abortion people in this coalition, they realize that the court may do this in just a few months. So they want to make sure that if Roe's overturned, that Michigan will automatically be a pro-choice state, not a pro-life state. And to do that, they need to get this petition on the ballot in November, which would be a state constitutional amendment. So it's not just a typical referendum, but it would revise the Michigan Constitution, guaranteeing abortion rights through up until fetal viability for any reason at all, no restrictions. And I may have mentioned to you before, they've kind of cloaked abortion in this. Let me read this to you. I may have read this before. I'll read it again. It is a constitutional amendment to establish a new individual right to reproductive freedom, including the right to make and carry out all decisions about pregnancy, such as prenatal care, childbirth, postpartum care, contraception, sterilization, abortion, miscarriage management, and fertility. It would allow a state to prohibit abortion after fetal viability unless needed to protect a patient's life or physical or mental health, forbid state discrimination in enforcement of the right, prohibit prosecution of an individual or a person helping a pregnant individual for exercising rights established by this amendment, and, listen to this, and invalidate all state laws that conflict with this amendment. All state laws would be invalidated if this passes and becomes part of our state constitution. So, obviously, our abortion ban would be repealed. A partial birth abortion ban would be repealed. Parental consent would be repealed. Informed consent would be repealed. Clinic licenses laws would be repealed. Our abortion insurance opt-out law would be repealed. We have a coercive abortion prevention act where, it would be against the law for a boyfriend to force or coerce his girlfriend into having an abortion if she didn't want it. That would be outlawed. So and there are more things too, but there's a lot of things that would be repealed if this thing passes. So they're going to begin collecting signatures in the next week, and they have 180 days. Well, it was 180 days from when they filed papers, and that was almost a month ago. So they're a little behind the gun on how many days they have left to collect signatures. But we have to assume that they're going to do it. We're going to have to assume that it's going to be on the ballot. And we need to be ready with our voices and with our vote and even with our pocketbook, because Right to Life in Michigan, if we put together our own coalition to fight this thing, we're going to need money, a lot of money, to wage a successful radio and TV campaign to alert the voters of Michigan that Michigan is a pro-life state. And back in 1972, we voted pro-life 61 to 39% to reject a liberal abortion law. Back in around 1990, we had another law on, I think it was on parental consent, and the law passed 59% pro-life. Michigan is a pro-life state, and we need to remind people who are on the fence, let's say, that liberal abortion is not the will of the people of this state, and they need to vote against it. And clearly, they really need to just not vote for the petition, because if they don't get the signatures, it's done. They don't get it on the ballot. They need to collect almost 600,000 signatures by July 11th. And if they don't do it, it will not be on the ballot. So I'll let you go now. I've run kind of long. So I'm a Ukrainian. Right to Life dinner May 19th. And don't sign this petition drive. Tell your friends and your neighbors, your friends and your enemies, tell everybody you know not to sign that petition. With that, I'll let you go. See you next time.